Well, the state of the world sure is something these days. You can't turn on the lights without finding a robber or a crocodile trying to take your goods or meat. And so, after much consideration of what it was I had hoped to become in life versus what life was forcing me into, decided to acquire weaponry. I was on a kayak one day and found a lost siren. She said, "Normally I croon slow jams and lure sailors to the shoals. Do you know where the shoals are?" So I Google Maps'd it, led her back to the shoals, and she was like, "You'll need to row harder if you're gonna sink here." I said, "Is there any way we could not do that, like as gratitude for me bringing you home?" She goes, "Oh, hadn't occurred to me. Yeah, that works. And would you like this mystical fire starter?" I said, what's a mystical fire starter?" She said, "My Zippo. Do you want my Zippo?" I said, "What's a siren doing with a Zippo?" She said, "Sometimes the boats don't break enough, so we help them along with the kiss of Mother Flame." I said, "Mother Flame? That sounds like a swell lady. What's her deal?" She said, "Oh, Mother Flame is the inventor of chlorine. Pools were grody as heck before Mother Flame. She can't swim herself. She would extinguish, but she wants a fair fight. Those ablaze with her love, they just take a little dip and then the chase continues. She's all about pursuit. When you bring her to the pub and they ask who was the third Beatle, she can run, screaming with a thrilling aroma. You get excited when you smell her speed. You say, 'I need to get involved.' And you take a couple courses, sign up for a night class, realize you don't have the time, and instead do like an edX thing. They've got courses for graphic design and Microsoft Excel, but they'll also teach you how to chase Mother Flame. Most of the lessons are stretches, but you'll be so limber that acrobatics will become your highest rated album." "Oh, I really dug Midnights by Taylor Swift. What have you been listening to?" "I've been listening to people do the splits. You can't find this on Spotify. You need to unzip the zebra and scan the QR code printed on its stomach lining, and the photography machine camera will emergency dial its emergency contact. Say, 'Mama, Mama, someone's trying to chase Mother Flame.' And then Zebra QR camera mama will show up, be spectacled and wriggling like worms in a sunbeam. Kitty cat worms with claws but no feet, scritching and scratching. They hate the sound, but their bodies can't stop producing it. The nails grow back like ear hair on the weathered ancient fish buyer. Comes in, and with the sandpaper rasp of what remains of his voice, he asks for the halibut. You tell him there's only snapper left. He should have gotten here quicker. He looks sadly down at his walker, says, 'I'll take the snapper,' goes home, braises it with mirepoix and mushroom stock, and the aroma that wafts through the condominium complex causes everybody to pray to their psychiatrist. You log into the med alert place and they're like, 'Did you have a fall?' And you say, 'No, I'm in fish crisis. May I speak with my therapist?' And they're like, 'We will patch you through.' And then the weightlifting trumpeter destroys every stringed instrument, says that they can't possibly blow with strumming. And then the clicking noise happens. Your shrink says, 'Oh God, it's you again. What do you want?' And you say, 'Holy shrink, who art on the other side of this call, hallowed be thy life advice. I have some traumas we've yet to unearth. I've had problems ever since birth. Give us this day our hot sauce on a pita pocket with nothing in it. It makes my tongue tingle. And the shrink says, all right, $20 copay, and you slip cassular implements into the waiting hands of a clammy in-between, a go-between, racing down the street on a vehicle, hand-wrenched. You're supposed to use Mother Flame's kiss to solder the parts together, but you do life on a hard mode, so you built your car with the things in the toolkit that Mommy and Daddy bought for you when you moved out. They said we're so happy for the progress in your life. We have full faith you won't become a raving nutjob who prays to shrinks. Here's a toolkit for when the wobbly table leg fairy comes to visit you. She won't leave $1 under your pillow, but she'll make your pita fall down. It's the floor lint totally changes the flavor profile. You scream into your garbage disposal. Why do you only chomp that which I do not? How can we make amends to one another? And then you turn it on, and its only wisdom is the gnashing noise that sullies your every nightmare. It's always in the background. You're stress dreaming about an exam for a job, and you won't realize until 45 minutes after waking up that that's not a thing. But you hear the crunching and the grinding, and it follows you like you follow Mother Flame. It took a couple edX courses itself. How to be a nuisance. How to pester people until they snap in two like twigs in the hand of your bored child. You raised it perma-camping, and now it can't sleep without the buzzing of the insects. So you send it on a game show. Are you more insane than a 5th grader? The challenger walks up, blinking so much more than is acceptable in polite company, so much so that basically anyone outside of a television audience that has gathered to watch them blink would be like, hey, why you blinking so much? He buzzes in. The kid falls asleep, thinks it's bugs, and the host says, oh, would you like to weird out on us? And he says, yes, I would. And then he does his one trick, and the host is like, I'm sure you're an absolute riot when the bricks start flying down on Quotidian Ave, but here, in the Madness Drome, that's not gonna cut it. Child, what can you offer? Graceful in the delivery and communication of all its brain problems, the woken child says to this blinky man, I have a third parent, and her name is the woods. The dew on the poison oak was my milk. I scrape away the hurdy tongue parts with sandy music, then drift into narcoleptic somnolescence to the chitinous buzzing of horseflies, warring against the light-speed incursion of death upon their flimsy and ever-rotting flesh vessels. Hey, Mr. Host, when should I start weirding out? He licks itchy plants and the camera loves him. The zebra loves him. The nation loves him. This is the thinnest tongue you've ever seen, and by the time this kid hits 8th grade, that tongue's gone. There will be no tongue left. How are you still talking? The teacher will ask. My God, you don't have one of the basic organs required for it, and yet somehow your ass never shuts up. I'm trying to explain the role of the water cycle in erosion. I pray to you, O psychologically damaging child. Holy be thy annoyance. Give us this day 5 minutes of goddamn peace and set me free from this hell of a career. And then Benjamin, No Tongue Kid's friend Benjamin blinks several times in rapid succession. The teacher's like, you think madness, Strome, is madness? On my walk back to the room from the bathroom earlier, I saw 2 kids wearing coyote costumes, headbutting the floor. They told me they were trying to break into the secret cabal meeting in a bonus boiler room, sealed off 20 generations back. This school was, incidentally, built 7 years ago, and they said when they got in there, they would be allowed to ascend to a higher plane, much as was the ambition of those goofy scamps in that Heaven's Gate club. But they said, we will not need your giant carafe of phenobarbital. We'll enter through willpower alone, and when we come barging through, our heads gushing more blood than you knew a body could hold, the squires of the pursuit of the fragrant flame will intone, these are the twin messiahs prophesied to us by the out-of-work accountant who founded our society after being contacted via robocall by the ash ghouls, beings that fell in pursuit of Mother Flame, saying, let us run into her blaze and see if the smoke from our burning corpses will bear our souls aloft into heaven, where God, who is a babe and a half as I'm given to understand, will take pity on us. And all of the symbols in the world, the letters, the ideograms, the pluses, the minuses, will join a conference call and say, let the coyote folk ascend. Madness, Drome? Ha! The teacher says, life is madness, Drome. So I say, oh, that makes sense, Siren. Thanks for the Zippo.